What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Endless Entrepreneurs channel. Going live tonight. It is Monday night, beginning of the week. I really want to bring this video to you guys live, talking about the top 3 habits that I think are the most valuable to every eBay seller. If you're new to my channel, I'm a part-time eBayer, full-time corporate finance analyst. I've been building my business in my spare time for quite a few years now, and it's grown to a level where I spend pretty much full-time hours selling men's and women's used clothing primarily. And I've kind of developed what I think is the 3, I'm narrowed it down to the 3 habits that I think have the most impact on any eBayer, on anyone who wants to start a reselling business for that matter. I'm going to relate it back to eBay simply because that's what I sell on. I think it's the most applicable. And my hope is that these 3 tips can be a foundation for anyone. And maybe if you're just joining now and you're looking to start reselling, maybe if you're in the midst of your reselling business, or even if you're a seasoned person, I think it's always good to reflect on different ideas and foundations to kind of center your business around. And I know that I'm constantly looking to evolve and ground myself in ways to grow and keep on growing and look at other successful sellers. And I feel like when you really break down an eBay or a reselling business, it always comes down to a few factors. And I think that, through a couple different shows I've done lately and a couple conversations with some viewers and, just trying to help some people out, I've seen that I think that we get way too far down the road and we forget some of the core principles that really just drive success. And if you can knock out those 3 things, like, you're going to be successful regardless of all the other nuances that I think we sometimes get so caught up in. And I know I'm very guilty of it too. Like, I get very caught up in the details and the perfection around my business, and I forget to just look at, like, these are the core building blocks that I need to focus all my energy and attention on. And if I do that consistently, I'm going to be successul. So I'm just going to jump in. I want to make sure my sound's okay, and I'm just going to jump right in with the 3 tips. I'll do a little bit of Q&A at the end if we have time. Looks like we got a bunch of people in the house here. Thanks for stopping in, guys. We got 21 watching live. I'm going to jump right in and give you guys the 3 tips, and then we can chat about them a little bit. But I think the first one, and I'm not sure that everyone's going to agree with this, but this is one that I think is tried and true, is you need to have a business plan. And I think that word is intimidating to a lot of people, or words, 2 words, is intimidating sometimes, and people get a little overwhelmed thinking that's too much or too official. And a business plan doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be rigorous. It doesn't have to be overly detailed. It just has to be an accurate depiction of how you're going to get to where you're going. And I think I find this all the time, and I was very guilty of this when I first started, is I didn't know why I was reselling. I was reselling because it was fun. I wanted to make some extra money, but I didn't quantify in my head what level of effort I was willing to exert for what objective. And when I think of a business plan, to me, that's what it is, right? It's, I have something I want to achieve, and here's the effort I'm willing to give to do that. Do those 2 things line up? And I think that's the first thing before you start an eBay business or a reselling business or anything like that. I feel like you really have to tune in on that. And I think that's different for everyone. Right? When I first started, my goal and my business plan, so to speak, was I wanted to make some extra money to pay off some bills, right? Like, I had student loans. I was working full-time. I'm still working full-time, but at the time it wasn't as good of a job as I have now. And it was, I just want to make a couple $100 extra each month. And so my business plan in my head was, okay, I'm going to devote 10 hours a week, right? I'm going to source on the weekend a little bit, and I'm going to list a couple items throughout the week. And I'm just going to figure this out, what I want to sell. And that was my business plan in the beginning. And, I gave myself kind of a time parameter of, I want to accomplish this in this certain amount of time. And, over the years, it's evolved. And this year I have a very detailed business plan where I'm trying to sell $100,000 of used clothing part-time on eBay. Like, that's a very big goal. It's achievable. And I have very concrete, like, I'm spending these hours every week doing these tasks, and it all builds up to it. But it doesn't have to start that way for everyone. And I just encourage everyone, if you don't have a business plan, like, just jot it down, right? It can be 3 or 4 bullet points of, I want to achieve X by this day. These are the 3 things I'm willing to do and I think I need to do to achieve it, and just keep it somewhere. Because when you start that foundation, you can start assessing whether the effort you're giving is going to equate to the objective you want. And your business plan, and I think this is the other mistake people get, is they think a business plan is static. A business plan should be an evolving document. It should be changing all the time. I mean, the marketplace and eBay and reselling, it changes dynamically, nonstop. And so your business plan, like, as you develop it, it needs to be something that evolves with you, right? Your first 2 months, you might follow it to a T, and on that 3rd month of the plan, you might realize, oh, I need to adjust this, this, and this, because I've been evaluating it based on the effort I've given, and I'm seeing these results. maybe I want to ramp up here, or maybe I found an extra hour here, and you tweak it and you adjust it and you keep moving. And I think that that's just something so important. And it is, for me, is tip number one, like beyond all the other building blocks, like start to develop a concrete plan that you're going to hold yourself accountable to, that guides where you want to get to, and it'll make you more motivated. And I mean, we just did a video yesterday, Chris and I from 10K on the Bay, about, getting out of your like burnout and when you get into a rut. And your business plan really should be that compass to get you out of it. And I've had to rely on mine a lot to get through that. So that's tip number one. And I think that is a non-negotiable, like no questions asked. You need to have that. I know a lot of people don't, and they're still successful, and that's great. But I think that regimen ensures success. I think a lot of people are worried about risk or whatever. Like when you make a business plan and hold yourself accountable, it can really, really transform and ensure the success you're going to have, right? And it might be varying levels of success, but at least it's a compass. So enough about tip one. I'm very passionate about that one, so I really wanted to hammer that one home to start. So the second one is, I think everyone needs, I know you have to have dedicated time to your business. And this has been so clear to me this year, and in talking to other resellers and watching some people either struggle or succeed, but on both ends of the spectrum, the one thing that always comes back to, like in common usually, is that the people who are succeeding the most, they have non-negotiable time that is for their business. No matter what, it's carved out, it's a part of their day, it's what they do every day, or 5 out of 7 days, or whatever it is for your schedule. You have time that no matter what, nothing is going to get in the way of that. No distractions, no TV, no shows, whatever. And that may mean for you, like for me, for instance, what that means for me is I have to get all that dedicated time in the morning before my day starts. Because if I don't know how my day is going to end up. I don't know if I'm going to have to be stuck at work late because we had a fire come up and something really important. I don't know if Shannon and I are getting an opportunity to go do something that we never will get to do, and I don't want to say no to it, so we get to go. So for me, it's like I don't want to sacrifice the flexibility of my family life, of my friendships, of my social life, of my work. So what I do, my non-negotiable time comes in the morning. That works for me. That might not work for everyone. For everyone else, it might be, hey, maybe it's at night, late at night, after the kids are in bed, after, we're settling down, I have a couple hours to go. But it has to be non-negotiable. Like it can't be 1 week I spend 10 hours and the next week I spend 1. You're going to take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, and you're just going to tread water. You're going to lose confidence in what you're doing. You're going to lose momentum in what you're doing. And so for me, it's like that non-negotiable time. It ensures your success in your business. It means that you're always moving your business forward at a steady pace and a consistent pace. And so to me, number 2, like without a doubt, to me, that is non-negotiable. So, for one, just to recap, 1 is you need a business plan, and 2, you need dedicated time to your business. And it's funny because when I was thinking about this topic today, and it was resonating with me, and just kind of thinking about, I've been in a rut a little bit lately. I've still been producing content. I've still been listing like crazy, but like it's the middle of the summer. There's all this stuff going on. Sometimes there's some pressures from work, and like you kind of get like that mental fatigue. And I've been able to go back to my business plan and my dedicated time that's been a routine for so long. And those have kind of anchored me in, so I haven't lost momentum. And so, hopefully people can see that and can relate to it. And maybe if it's not something you have now, maybe it'll be something you can apply moving forward. Because I can assure you, I'm almost 8 months into this journey with this goal that I have. And those 2 principles are what has held me through to all this. It's what's made me maximize my time and have any success that I've experienced has been because of those 2 things. And so the third one, I'm going to get very practical on the eBay side specifically. So if you're in another reselling business, it might not be as practical, but there will be some practicality to it and some transferableness. But you have to list. I think we get so caught up in learning about what to source, what to buy, what's hot, what's trending as resellers, that we forget that making 100 good buys this week, like very good purchases this week with amazing margin, and they're just fire items, it doesn't matter if you don't list them. Like all that matters is that you incurred an expense that you're not recouping on the other end. Until you list that item, you've basically moved your business backwards. And I think it's really important from the mindset of a reseller, especially. Like I love the hunt. I love going to Goodwill, the Salvation Army. I love hitting all these thrift stores and seeing what I can pull out of there. I love getting huge hauls that I stack my cart up, and taking videos and pictures. I love it. Like it's a thrill of reselling, no doubt about it. The problem is every time you make a purchase, the scorecard for business is, are you making money? That's the only scorecard. The scorecard isn't your sales even. The The scorecard is what type of money are you making and putting in your pocket. And to do that, you have to list, and you have to list consistently. There is no doubt in all the data I've tracked over this last, we're coming up on a year basis since last August. I've been using my tracker. When you list consistently, your sales go up. End of story. You list daily and consistently, your sales will go up. There's no avoiding it. Putting good inventory up, and that's assuming there's all these assumptions of you're making good buys, you know what you're buying, you have good margin, you know, all those things that to me they're less important because you can learn them very easily, right? That information is all available. But what isn't always available is your personal fortitude for the business plan, for the dedicated time, and for saying, I'm going to list non-negotiable. Like, it's not always fun to take measurements of 15 items and pictures and list them. Like, that's not the fun part of reselling. The fun part is finding all the awesome stuff. So for me, like, those are the three. And I know hopefully this didn't come across as preachy. I've had a lot of really good conversations with other resellers lately, and some other people just getting into it, some viewers asking questions. And like, these three themes just seem to all come back. And I think they're really the pillars of success. If you're just starting, if you're trying to tweak your business, or if you're even a seasoned reseller or business owner, like, I feel like they're very applicable. And so I attribute most if not all of my success to those three things, especially in my eBay business. And hopefully this was helpful to you guys. You know, just to recap, you know, the three things is have a business plan, have dedicated time to build your business, and list consistently all the time. Have it be a part of your everyday schedule because it will grow your business, you know, insurmountably. So I will pause there. I'm going to jump over to chat here and see what we have going on. Looks like we got 55 watching live. I really appreciate it. Definitely hit that like button for me. Looks like we got Wade in the chat. I want to give another shout out to Wade. He has been a great supporter of the reseller community. He's been putting out consistent content, and I've really been enjoying it. So Wade, keep up the good work, man. Bob says, I schedule listings when I know there is going to be a time restraint. Keeps eBay happy. Bob, that's such a great idea. Just to elaborate on that, that's such a good time hack. If you know you're not going to have time to list in the next 3 days, you can schedule listings to slowly, you know, go out every single day. I think that's awesome. I'm going to scroll up here and just see any questions I might miss. And I see Wade, and sorry, Wade, I see the super chat there. Wade just gave $10 earlier while I was going on my little rant there. Wade, I really can't thank you enough for the support you've been giving. And I'm just going to give him another shout out here. Like, go see his channel. He's got great content. He's grinding away. He's working hard. Go show him some love. This reseller community is definitely great. Let's see. I appreciate the comments, seeing some kind words in the chat, guys. I appreciate that. And then the purpose of this really was just to share with you what's working for me. You know, like, I feel like a lot of people were busting their butts, and I think it's important to focus on the things that add value to your business. Shipwreck said, what day are sales best historically on eBay? I don't know the specific day of the year. I would say weekend sales usually are stronger for me than weekday sales, but it's very cyclical. Anytime I get near holidays, sales seem to die off pretty bad. So that is one thing I have seen. Let's see what we got here. Everyone's saying they love the hunt too. Yeah, I think that's the common thing of resellers, right? Is we love the thrill of the hunt. We love finding the deal. We love finding the home run. And but you got to list it to make that money. Let's see. Question here from OTV. Should you specifically say that some shirts are fake like Lacoste? If you think so, I'm pretty adamant on this one. If you think an item's fake, you shouldn't be listing it. Like, I adamantly believe that if you think something is fake, you should not be listing it. To me, that's not ethical. That you'd be selling fake merchandise. So just be very careful. I mean, you can get your account in serious trouble for that. How many items does everyone like to list daily? I personally was listing 12 per day on average for the first 6 months of the year. My goal this month, or 7 months, my goal this month is to list about 15 a day, which is about 450 a month. And so far, I'm on track. Lad Miller just gave a $3 super chat. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that. Yeah, Bob, I had a lot of fun hunting in the Goodwills with you in Austin. It was great. Bob, we went to the Green Room meetup. Bob Boyce in the chat there, and Tina, the Soul Advisor, and Jason from Prof Sales Channel. We all went out thrifting. Harsha was there too. He's a great Amazon seller. We had a lot of good time. Vicky said, do you list at a certain time or it doesn't matter? My personal philosophy on listing is the sooner it's up, the sooner it can make money for me, because people are buying 24/7 around the clock because they're buying from different parts of the world and time zones. So I don't ever try to put them live at a certain time. I just try to get them up as soon as I can. Let's see. Flipping Daily said, I dream of the day I list the items purchased same day. Yeah, you know what? You can make that happen, though. It's like I'm looking at my room right now. My eBay room is an absolute mess. This is probably the messiest it's been in months. I've just been going so hard the last 2 weeks that I just haven't taken the step to clean up. Tonight I need to clean it up. We're going to have a lot of company in another week or two here, so I need to get things cleaned up. But I list throughout the week. Like I try to stock up on the weekend and I list throughout the week, and I try to list everything I bought over the last weekend so that when I come to the next weekend, there's nothing left and I'm freshly sourcing new stuff. Crazy said, how many listings did you have active when you started to see steady sales? So my general rule of thumb is what I've seen is that for every 100 items you have listed, if you have a fixed price kind of medium to long tail model, you can expect 8 to 10 sales per month for every 100 items you have up. M. Toner said, what if you have something worth 300 or so but can't find the same one on eBay? I'm always in the camp of price higher than lower, right? You always can bring the price down, list it for a while at the price you think it's worth, and then bring it down if they don't sell. No TV said, I'm only averaging 400 a month and have 500 active items now with 130 feedback. Is that bad compared to how you were? I'm not sure. It's hard to compare, right? Because so let's take this, for instance, No TV. Let's say you listed all those items the last 2 or 3 months. That's a really steep ramp up to 500. You might not see the complete ramp up of the sell through you wanted over maybe like a 6-month period. It also depends what type of items are you listing. Are you listing 15? Like your average sale price matters a lot. Are you listing commodity type items at 12 to 15 bucks a piece? Are you listing items at like 25 to 35? How are your pictures? How are your measurements? There's just all these things that play a factor into what brands are you selling. So it's really hard for me to answer that. I wouldn't say it's bad necessarily, though. How many months have you been selling for, No TV? No problem, Ledden. I'm glad that the brands are helping. I'm here to help as best as I can, at least share what's worked for me. That's the fun part about YouTube is I can share what's worked for me and I can learn from you guys. Highway 19 Design said, we are on similar adventures. I am a business owner full-time and a part-time seller too. 700 items currently listed. I really enjoy your videos. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy them. 700 items, that's fantastic, especially for as a business owner full-time and a part-time seller. That's great. You can balance both of those. Very impressive. NF said, TV, do you watch any or list? I don't watch TV. The only TV I really watch is we have American Ninja Warrior on downstairs right now. I'll listen to that in the background while I'm doing something and occasionally watch it. But really, live sports is about it for me. I'm not a big show person except for Game of Thrones. I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones, so I'm all caught up on that. That's like the 1 hour a week I watch a show. But besides that, like football, I don't miss many games. I love fantasy. Basketball, I'm a huge college basketball fan. But besides that, I don't watch a lot of TV. Tripa said I had 2, or Aaron said, sorry, I remember your name. I remember that your name is Aaron. I'm sorry, Tripa. Said I had 2 items sell today that I listed yesterday. That's great. M. Toner said, question above. What if you have something worth 300? I think I just answered that for you. I would list it really high and just wait and see what happens. Sherman Discount said, inspired by your hustle, when you source on lunch breaks, do you just eat while you drive? I'm glad you're inspired, Sherman. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you supporting and watching. I actually pack my lunch. So it's kind of funny. I pack all my lunch in meal prep, or pack my lunch in meal prep. Shannon usually meal preps most of it for me. And I eat at my desk. So my lunch break is not really a lunch break. It's just my hour I take and I go, source. So that's kind of how I have a desk job, so I can do that. Antonio said, hey, Luke, how's it going? Just checking in. He's currently getting some photos done. Antonio's all the way from Australia. So thanks for stopping in, man. Let's see. Bob's got great advice here. He's saying, try not to compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 12. Use them as a model inspiration. That's really good advice. And I'm a big believer in not comparing. I think modeling success is an awesome idea, but don't compare how fast you got there, and don't compare where you're at to someone else right now today. Compare it to where you were yesterday. Are you getting better? Are you improving? Vicky just asked, how do you handle best offers? I feel like if you don't accept their first offer, they won't go up. Do you say something when you counter offer? So I pretty much counter, I'd say 90% of my best offers I counter. If they offer 90% or higher, I accept automatically. 80% or higher, I always counter to usually like 90 to 95%. And like way lower than that, like if there's an insulting offer, I counter like 25 cents lower than the listing price. And then they usually either come all the way up because they realize I'm not going to play around, or they just don't, and whatever. I am getting close to the threshold, though. I will say during the holiday season, I might experiment with doing no best offer, just because I'm getting kind of to the size of a store where I might have to do that. No TV said, yeah, I do exactly the same model. I kind of copied to start off with. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad if I can help model some success for someone, that makes me very happy. I would just say keep at it. 6 months in is very new. And don't get discouraged. Like, it takes time. I mean, I've been building up my 2,200 feedback or 2,100 feedback. I've built up over years. So don't feel discouraged about that. Let's see. And I don't have top rated seller, guys, by the way. Joshua says, start a reseller fantasy football league. I would love to. I may have to think about that. I'm currently in a keeper league that I've been in with the same guys for like, I think this is our 8th or 9th season. So it's very competitive. I love it. We keep 6 players on our roster every year. So we start the draft from round 7. So it's really cool. You can trade draft picks and stuff like that. But I'm also in a couple family leagues, which gets a little overwhelming to manage. But that might be a decent idea. No Georgia Bulldog t-shirts. Syracuse all the way. I'm upstate New Yorker. Syracuse is my team. No doubt about it. Hey, reseller niche. What's going on, man? Let's see. Oh, so this has been a question been asked a lot. It says, will you be changing your background to white like eBay recommended and eBay open? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely reading the writing on the wall just like everyone else. I think I haven't made any changes yet because I'm just thinking about how I want to do it. I'm really methodical when I make a change, like a process change like that, because I want to make sure that I'm not A, slowing down my productivity, and B, I want to make sure that I'm satisfying the new requirement. So I've been really thinking about what type of equipment I want, what type of setup I want to get the contrast out of the colors. I mean, there's been a couple of good videos out about it. So I'm just really sitting on that and chewing on it. And basically my plan is going to be when I do implement it is I'm just going to do only new listings like that. I'm going to keep all my old listings the same. I'm not going to try to redo all of them. No TV said, how come you don't have top rated seller? It's surprising. So a couple of reasons, just being honest. So I auctioned off, let's see, beginning of the year, and then probably like 3 months ago, and even recently is now. Occasionally I auction off old inventory, like really old inventory. I mean, before I was what I would seem as an acceptable seller. And occasionally those items ended up being damaged or lost. I didn't keep them well. And so I've taken a lot of defects on those because I had to cancel orders, and that's really penalized me from getting top-rated seller. Second is I went through a little stint where I was late on a lot of my shipping, which was my own fault, and I've learned from that and adjusted, but that's really the honest truth. Another question is, what's up with this mystery box challenge thing? I have no idea. I haven't kept up on it. I don't really have much of an opinion. I don't know. I'm not up on the eBay culture, unfortunately, when it comes to that. I should probably learn a little more. I see people are doing them. They look kind of cool, but I just haven't done that. Reseller said, what day is considered the first day of fourth quarter? And then it was restricted. Weird. Retracted. Vicky said, is there an easy way to track your sold items by importing the information from eBay instead of doing a spreadsheet and adding one by one? Thanks for all your responses. Yeah, absolutely. So you can use the download center. So what I do is I go to my sold listings page. Actually, let me show you. I'll show you what I do. That's a quick one. Let me share my screen here. So if you want to get your items quick, you can go to all orders. Now, granted, you only can do this for the last 90 days. You only can do this for the last 90 days, and let's see here. So if you go to download report here, It'll take you to the old download center. And you go to sold. And you can pick a period you want to download from. And it'll email you when the download's ready. And then you can export that as a CSV and do whatever you want with it, or as a spreadsheet. You can do whatever you want with it. So I actually do that when I do my LLB and bulk order updates. That's exactly what I do. Is I just export to a spreadsheet and play around with it, pivot it, do whatever I want. You can do the same thing with your sold listings and just kind of map them into whatever tracker you have. I do average costing, so I don't ever really worry about that. But yeah, if that's something you're looking to do, that's probably the best way to do it. Let's see what else we got here. I need to take a drink. 1 second, guys. Resell Dates of what is considered the first day of fourth quarter. That would be technically October 1st. So each quarter is broken up into 3 months financially. Everyone's fiscal year can be different, but as far as resellers go, fourth quarter is considered October 1st through December 31st. Flipping Daily says, I spoke with a professional photographer yesterday. She said white backdrop for dark colors, black backdrop for light colors. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense to me. Let's see. No TV said, is it really worth filing up all the words in the title, even if it's kind of pointless info? So think about it from this perspective, No TV. If someone does a Google search and they hit on 3 or 4 combinations of keywords you have in your title, it's likely someone not even on eBay could come across your listing on eBay. So title is probably one of the more SEO friendly areas that Google would pick up on. So I always try to fill up that as best that I can, because we already have the organic traffic from eBay. But if you can grab traffic from Google, right, off your item, that's even more buyers that might not even be looking on eBay ordinarily. Let's see. On the roads again said, Luke, do you have a magic number time frame when something in inventory becomes long tail and time to auction or drop prices? So I don't have a formula. I, for the most part, hold my inventory for well over a year before I do it. The ones I've done are really just like the photos were bad. It was like back when I first got into blazers and suits, I was buying pinstripe suit jackets with no matching bottoms. So like I've been starting to auction those off, just trying to get rid of stuff that was just, to me, was done poorly, listed poorly. It's not worth my time to relist it. I'd rather just auction it, get some capital back, and move on. Besides that, I'm to the point where I don't feel like I make enough bad buys to warrant doing that. But that could change. That's just how I am right now. See you, Flippin' Daily. Sherman said, any tips for waking up earlier? Yeah, best tip I have is wake up 10 minutes earlier every day. Instead of trying to do it all at once, just wake up 10 minutes earlier every day. Slowly ease your body into it. Go to bed 10 minutes earlier, wake up 10 minutes earlier. So if you can ease your body into it, that's the best way to do it. The second one is make a goal that excites you enough to get out of bed. That's what's been the other key for me. Lori said, the common thought is it better to list. Oh, shoot. Chat's moving too fast. Common thought is it better to list 5 items per day, 7 days a week, than 35 items on one day and none the rest. What do you think? So I'm going to say basic economics. If you have 35 items up and you have 7 days for someone to have a chance to see them and buy them, versus on day 1, buyers can see 5 items. On day 2, they can see 10 items. On day 3, they can see 15. On day 4, they can see 20. The math just plays into your favor to list 35 all at once, because that's a longer time they're up where buyers can see them. So I would always say, if you can list them all at once, do it. I list consistently because I think there is a little bit of an advantage to like the active store for sure. But more for me, if I try to do all my listings on one day, I would go nuts. I would get so bored. So for me, it's like if I can just do small bites, 10 here, 15 there, whatever it works for you, that's just easier for me to stay consistent and moving forward in my business. Anna said, what about all caps or lowercase and why in the title? That's a really interesting question, because I have seen a lot of bigger sellers do caps. I have a pet peeve about caps. It really has no business sense or logic behind it. I just can't stand them. So I don't use caps. That's just, there's no real logic to it. I just don't enjoy them. Let's see. So we got 75 watching live, guys. If you don't mind, hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Let's see. So Vicky just said, okay, just now I have an item for $19.99. They offer me 10. What will be your answer? I would offer $18.99. That also based on what you paid for the item too, but in general. Okay. Do you have someone asked if I have a special e-commerce CPA? I actually don't. So my CPA specializes in real estate. I actually handle most of the nuances of the e-commerce stuff. I research it and bounce things off of him. He's very sound, knows his stuff, and he knows his stuff inside out. But he specializes in real estate. I picked him for that reason because I'm very passionate about real estate, and eBay is kind of my sounding board to fund real estate. So yeah, I know Jason on Prof Sales. He has a CPA that is really good with e-commerce. So you might want to see a referral for him. He has a good video where he actually interviews a CPA. So you might want to check that out. What if you put listing pictures, 2 white background, and a few with designer background? Would that make eBay happy? I have no idea the answer to that. This is so new from eBay. I'm not sure. I think that they're heading towards the white background because of the new technology they have for that picture search app. That's what I think. And the white background will allow it to work better. That's my hunch. Let's see. All right. Here's another question. I'm going to wrap up here in a couple minutes. I'll take 2 or 3 more questions, then I'm going to wrap up. No TV said, question, have you ever thought of going into real estate altogether, way bigger profits? So I have, let me answer this a couple ways. I get bored easy, so I have to have multiple things going on. So I have my day job, I have eBay. This place is going to become a rental, and I have YouTube. So I have lots of things going on that engage me, keep me interested. To me, I view my next path as at 3 couple pillars, right? I have my full-time income, I've got my eBay income, and I have my real estate income. And then more passively in the background, I have like 401k or retirement stuff that I'm building up and managing on my own. So for me, they all are different pillars. And I think of it like kind of like a tripod. I don't want to lose a leg, right? Like I want to have those legs all the time. As far as goals for like my rental properties, I'd like to have a very big portfolio. Without going into too much detail, there's just a lot of really good advantages to snowballing your investment properties and kind of growing that. I think it's a really cool business to be in. I've been learning a lot about it over the last 2 years. I've done a lot of legwork on it, and this purchase was really my first little gateway into it, and eBay has helped that. I am pursuing right now. I'm trying to get some other real estate kind of experts in the real estate community. I want to collaborate with them, so I'm working on that right now. Hopefully, that'll be content you guys are interested in the future, because that's something I'm very passionate about. Let's see. Rhiannon said, "You said you do mostly good till canceled, I believe. Is that mostly to save time relisting, or do you find things sell faster, slower?" It's just first time only. I don't want to deal with relisting. All the big stores have good till canceled, so I don't think it really hurts you from a sell-through perspective. It's just easier that way for me. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up here. I need to get some sleep. We got live at 5 tomorrow in the morning. We're traveling Thursday night, so I'm just trying to get as much done as I can before then. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate everyone giving support and all the questions. They are great questions. Hopefully, these 3 tips will help you in your business. And I hope that you guys have an awesome week. I hope August is crushing for you. I'm going to grab this one last question here that came through. It says, at the end of the year, do you turn in all receipts for everything you purchased, or the items you sold, or turn in receipts for only the items that you sold? So at the end of the year, I don't turn any receipts. I keep all my receipts organized. They back up the summary detail that I file my taxes with. So if I'm ever audited, it all matches up and lines up. But to answer your question, cost of goods is the cost of goods you sold, not for all the items you purchased. All right, guys, have a great night. Hope to answer your question. Follow me on Instagram, Endless Entrepreneurs, if you haven't already. Try to post content on there consistently, and hit that like button on the way out, and subscribe, please. Have an awesome night, guys. Thanks so much for the support. See you guys.